Once again, the New England Patriots are proving everyone wrong because yes, you can lose to Anthony Richardson. This is the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Patriots POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It's the Patriots POSTCAST, brought to you by Game Time. I'm your host, Cam Stewart, putting myself through this every week. The Patriots lost because it's a football game that was played, and they don't ever win those. But what's impressed me is they're finding new ways to lose. You know, they're losing to teams that people didn't think were possible to lose to. They're keeping seasons alive for other dog shit teams. And I know I should be rooting for them to lose. We should all be rooting for them to lose, but I really can't help it. I'm a fan of the team. I don't want them to lose. I don't want them to be the biggest laughingstock in the National Football League. I'm sick of it. I hate it. Can you give someone else a try? Can Pittsburgh have one of these teams, please? Can it stop being us? It's 2 years in a row of just a complete embarrassment. And they lose to the Colts 25-24 on a touchdown in the last 30 seconds, and then a pretty ballsy 2-point conversion that isn't really ballsy because how on earth were the Patriots going to stop Anthony Richardson from 2 yards out? In fact, what dipshit dumbass on the other side, Colts sideline, didn't run that on 1st and goal is what I'm wondering. You let it get down to 4th and goal and then the 2-point conversion to run that play, which would have worked like a hot knife through butter from down number 1. Morons. Of course, not as dumb as the Patriots staff, but that's a whole nother, right? It's a whole nother thing. If I'm a Colts fan, that is absolutely the call that I'm looking for. Go for 2. Why not? How are they going to stop you? And then to just add insult to injury, they throw out Joey Sly there for the what would have been the NFL record long field goal from 68 yards, and he is right on the money. He's right on the money from about 65. It's right down the middle and falls a couple yards short. Joey, where was that in the first half when you had a 26-yard field goal? You bum. You absolute bum. Are you kidding me? Maybe try soccer or something. This sport's not for you if you can't hit from 26. That's less than an extra point. Golly, man. These are the guys this team employs. This team used to win stuff. And now I've got some joker out there who can kick it straight as an arrow from 65 and absolutely shanks it from 26. He's the reason I'm breaking stuff in my apartment. This team is the reason why my Sunday nights are horrible, because I expect them to win when they play that well. But I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But it's outside of last week. That was a disaster. Most weeks now, the Patriots are putting together competent performances and at times are outplaying teams. They outplayed Indianapolis today. The Colts were begging for a stop on that final touchdown drive. They couldn't complete anything 10 yards down the field. You stopped them time and time again, and then just let them score. There was no way they were going to score there against 28 other teams in this league. They're not good. And you just gave them a lifeline in December. Like, when are you going to start winning these games? Like, we get it. Drake May is good. That's what we were looking for this season. We got it. We got that a month ago. He can play in this league. He's awesome. Can something else get better? Can there be some other improvement on this team? Please, for the love of God, please. I've already got the only thing that I asked for Christmas, a frickin' bye week next week, so I don't have to do this again. Or at least take a break from it, because we will have the Patriots postcast for you every week after every Patriots game. And then, You could stay up to the minute with Mike Debate throughout the week on Locked On Patriots. He's going to give you some great analysis, get you ready for all the other games, and he'll probably have a more measured approach to telling you what's wrong with this team and why nothing gets better. Nothing, not one goddamn thing gets better. The Patriots looked good in coverage today. They also played Anthony Richardson, so take that however you will. Boy, I'd rather have the kid we've got under center than what the Colts have. And if I have to hear, it's just the whole game was Spiro Didi's calling him a rookie for some reason. He's not a rookie. And second, to just emphasize how he hasn't played enough football. It's like, okay, we understand. He didn't play a lot in college, okay? Drake May didn't play a ton in college. Played 2 years. Anthony Richardson played part of 1. And when you're drafted in the top 5, like that's not too great an excuse in year 2. And we're talking about December of year 2. And I've just got to hear these commentators fall all over themselves about how great Anthony Richardson is. He just hasn't had enough time yet because he hasn't played enough football. Golly, could you imagine being a Colts fan and hearing that every week, hearing that same dumb old excuse? So much of this came down, I think, to what the Patriots did wrong. And yes, I see the comment. I do know that they ran a draw on second down. They ran a quarterback draw, but their offensive line stinks. It stinks, or it stunk on that play. They didn't spread it out on that play. And this one, they basically emptied the backfield. That's how they did it on the 2-point conversion. If you'd done that on first down, you would have scored. Instead, they get it all the way to fourth down, and the Patriots, of course, cannot stop it. So is there a little bit of what the Colts did right today? I guess, but mostly what the Patriots did wrong. It seems every week I'm coming on here and talking about all the points that they left on the field. And like that shouldn't be something we're talking about with a team that is going to pick in the top 5. We should be saying that they just don't have the talent. They don't have the skill, like we were saying in the first couple weeks of the season when Jacoby Brissett was at quarterback. But I'm sorry, man, when you've got a young quarterback coming in like Drake May, who's played as well as he has the last month and a half, you've got to start winning some more games. Like that's a bad sign to me. I know we're supposed to lose and we're supposed to get as good a draft pick as possible. I know, but this is part of the rebuild here, is to actually show that you can win some games with this kid. And they're so incompetent in every facet of the game that they can't do it. And so, you hear about the broadcasters talking about, Gerard Mayo's basically having tryouts these last couple of weeks to see who he can keep on the roster. Who would you keep on the roster? Genuinely, who on this team would you keep on the roster given the opportunity to sub them out for someone of league minimum value or of bang average football skill? I wouldn't keep 50 of them, of the 53. And that's what the Patriots have got. But this one thing, I'm telling you, is really why they lost the game today and why the Colts are still alive in the playoff race. That's coming up next on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. But first, a word from BetterHelp, which we are all going to need if we are watching every Patriots game this season. So it is right at the top of my Christmas wish list. I need something after this. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp, and it's a place where you can go and get talking to a therapist all online is the whole process. So you don't have those awkward meetings. You don't have to settle it out on the phone. Hey, can you actually take someone? Are you taking and new patients or not? This is the time of seasonal depression, guys. We all know that when the clock is turned back and we're getting dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. We've got holidays coming up, and you want to be in your best self for that. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOn today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOn. BetterHelp, a proud sponsor of the Locked On Podcast Network. Patriots lose. Big surprise there. They lose every week, but they find new ways just about all the time. And this one comes to a very near goal line stand, which obviously the players are nowhere near the same. The franchises are nowhere near the same, but of course would have rung up echoes of 2003, that goal line stand in Indianapolis to knock off the Colts at the old RCA Dome for a team, obviously, that went on to go win the Super Bowl for the Patriots. Willie McGinnis stopping Edgerrin James, a couple Hall of Famers right there. Definitely not many Hall of Famers in this game today, if any at all. In fact, you could argue there was none. The Patriots should have won this game. Like, make no mistake about it. The way they shot themselves in the foot, the awful red zone execution, especially in the first half, and all the numbers point to the Patriots winning this game. In fact, they had 170 more total yards than the Colts today. In an NFL game, you need to win that game when you have 170 more yards of offense than the other team. But here's the kicker. The Patriots had more than 70 more yards of penalties. It's the same thing every week. This is why all these people say, oh, give this coaching staff a chance. Like, one thing you can correct right away is stop with all the goddamn penalties. All the time. I don't know what the record is, but they must have been knocking on the door for holdings in the red zone in one game. I mean, it was incredible. As soon as they get inside the 20, inside the 10 for a goal to go, they just don't know how to block. They can't do it. They literally cannot do it. If you're another team, why are you not sending an extra rusher every single time? They can't even handle a 3 or 4 man front. You throw a blitzer at them, no chance. No chance they're going to keep a pocket for their quarterback. And they couldn't most of this game. Again. But that's broken record stuff. 70 more yards of penalties. Give me a break, man. Was the officiating all there? No. But that was no excuse for all the holding penalties the Patriots had. That had nothing to do with it. Now, of course, there were some stupid calls in there. I mean, Mayo's got to challenge a play that he almost didn't challenge, which is incredible. Drake May runs for a first down on 3rd and 1. He's a whole yard ahead of the line to gain. And for some reason, even with replay assist, they say, oh, no, that's a sack. That's a gain of 0. That's short of the line to gain. And they show like 10 replays, and anyone with a brain in their head has to be like, what are they talking about? That's clearly a whole yard over the line to gain. And they're saying that they're basically taking 2.5 yards off his carry for what? And so Mayo's got to use a challenge for that with replay assist? Give me a break, man. Give me a break. And then I wish I had the picture of this. There was a 3rd and 1 in the first half where Ramondre Stevenson gets the ball on the right side, and there are 6 Colts there and nobody blocking him. Like, it's actual, like, bad news bear stuff. Like, truly. And you thought I was exaggerating with 6, but no, there are literally 6 unblocked Colts in this picture. It's unbelievable how destructively bad this team is. They do it to themselves. Like, did you watch this game today and think, oh, you know what? That's a good Colts team. That's too bad. No, you didn't. You thought that's an awful Patriots team. And most teams are not losing to that team. And I can't even upload the image. Most teams are not losing to the Colts, but the Patriots will find a way. And so it's this same pattern of week after week after week of the same penalties, the false starts, the holdings, the illegal shifts. Every week, at some point, how is that not on a coaching staff? How are you not coaching that in practice and in film? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then you've got the balls to cut some of these offensive linemen with no one to replace them. The Cotton kid you got off the street this week, wasn't even dressed today. It just goes from bad to worse. And I don't understand how you can keep making the same mistakes week after week. Is that bad players? Of course, it's a bad roster. It's a really bad roster. But the reason why you hire people in the NFL and why you pay coaches is for that to get better. They can't do it. They cannot do it. They've shown you a full dress rehearsal all season long. With this roster coming into this season, your best case scenario was that Drake May would come in the early part of the season and play really well. You've had that. You still suck. You suck. You suck harder week after week somehow. That at some point is on the coaching staff and on the front office who didn't put together a friggin' roster that can compete at the NFL level. Like, it's so easy to just say, yeah, it's the players, they suck. And they do. But when they suck the same way week after week after week, that is on the coaches. Like, what has proven to you this year? What can you point to this year and say, yeah, you know what? I believe in the direction Gerard Mayo's got this team going in. What can you point to this year that you're like, Elliot Wolf knows what he's doing. It's a lean year this year, but he's going to put it together. And Alex Van Pelt has done a fine job developing Drake May. We can't say that Drake May was such a raw prospect coming into this year that people were talking about redshirting him. And then less than halfway through the season, he takes over and he's done great. You can't say all that without saying that Alex Van Pelt has done something for him. And he has. There's clearly some other major deficiencies in his play calling, but he has helped with that. DeMarcus Covington, who had a good day much of the day, in terms of how his team was covering and forcing Anthony Richardson to like 10 total completions. But at the end of the day, if you can't stop them when the game matters, and Anthony Richardson goes 12 of 24 for 109 yards and throws 2 picks, you can't be losing that game. That would be like losing to Jacoby Brissett, which, as we saw in the early part of the season, almost no one can do. But you are among the very, very elite at the bottom of the pack. The Patriots are still locked into, I think, the 5th pick right now as this is live. But the 4 teams ahead of you, there's 2 ways to look at this. I would be surprised if the 4 teams ahead of you win another game. Right? We're in the last month of the season. Giants, Raiders, Jags, Raiders. So you got 2 of those picks. Wait a minute. And then behind you, Cleveland, Carolina, the Jets, the Titans, all with 3 losses. Although I haven't checked the end of that Jets game. They were winning today. So there's 2 ways to look at this. Either you say, yes, Cam, that's right. We're not gonna catch any of these teams at 2 losses. So let's lose as many games as possible. Or you say, we're not catching those teams, but these teams behind us are a lot like us. And the Jets could have pulled it off today. And you could say, we can afford to win another game or 2 and still be in the top 8 of this draft. Which, if you're going left tackle, which you should go, even though you need an upgrade at every position, you will find a good left tackle in the top 8 picks. A franchise left tackle, you will absolutely find that in those top 8 picks, whether you develop him or whether he's a bust, whatever. But it's not like you're out of tackles at pick number 8, like you would have been 12 to 15 years ago. So you can afford to win a game or 2 and at least show that there's some direction with this team under this coach, under either of these coordinators, and under this GM. And yeah, under this quarterback. Again, don't think it's his fault that the rest of his team is so bad, but we need wins from this kid towards the end of the season will greatly improve confidence and actually show, hey, here's how it works. Here's how we can do it even with this lineup. But, a wacko interception at the goal line, some terrible play calling in the red zone. I couldn't attract it if I tried today. You must have left 15 points on the field and you lost by 1. So it's just a comedy of errors every time they take the field. But there is one thing that the Patriots did today that I think they should be doing all the time and for years to come. I'll tell you what that is coming up on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. But first, a word from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Again, you're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Patriots Postcast. Be sure to keep up to date all throughout the week with Mike Debate of Locked On Patriots, because on the Locked On Podcast Network, it is your team every day. So Mike Debate will keep you up to date throughout the whole week, and I'll just rant at you on Sundays. But there's one thing the Patriots did in this game that I think they should continue to do. In fact, I think it's something they should do. I wouldn't mind if they did it every game. That one thing that the Patriots did today was wear the red uniforms. Oh, you thought I was going to say something football related? You thought there was something strategically good in this game that they should continue to do? I haven't found it yet. Antonio Gibson, I thought, had a nice game. We'll say that. But like if I can learn to talk here. The set for home and aways for the Patriots, they stink. Those uniforms stink. I'm sorry. You've added the silver pants, and that looks better than the color rush. But like these uniforms aren't doing anything for anybody. And if you get out from underneath them now, they'll just be like a small, insignificant chapter in Patriots history. Kind of like the first blue uniforms that the Patriots had. You might be thinking of the ones with the big flying Elvis on the shoulder and the kind of faux stripes in there, the Bledsoes. No, I'm not talking about those. Because before that, for like 3 seasons, they had this blue with a regular size flying Elvis, block numbers that were red on the front and white on the top. And they were incredibly dull, mind-numbingly dull. If you get out from underneath the uniforms that you wear right now, that's what those will be. They'll just be forgotten. And I don't think there's going to be any real pushback if you just go to the red and white. Like, I know it's fancy to say, like, oh, well, that is from an era that Patriots fans want to forget. I mean, yeah, to some extent, like, you did stink for a long time. You did play in a Super Bowl in those uniforms. You had some famous wins in those uniforms. And you know what? Above all else, they friggin' look good. And it's not like you're going to have a glory era in the next 2 years or anything. You know, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about what uniform you're going to wear in the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. They look even better in the modern Nike NFL uniforms. I'm sorry, they look awesome. And the fact that we haven't seen this team wear the white one yet is too bad, because that would be one hell of a look. I don't love when teams go backwards in terms of their branding. We're seeing it a ton in like the NBA in particular. I don't love that. But when it's this obvious, it's like the Mighty Ducks in the NHL. When it's that obvious to just go back to that beautiful uniform you had before, no matter how much you sucked, then it's time to do it. And you know what? Bring back the other 90s ones. Bring back the flying Bledsoes and Ty Laws and the huge Elvis on the shoulder. I would love that too. And just get some sort of excitement, even if it's from uniforms, man, because you're not getting it with enclosing the stadium, and you sure as heck are not getting it from this team. This quarterback in a new uniform, then there we go. We've got something there. So as much as I don't like teams normally going backwards in their branding, I would love to see them go back to the red and then blue and white, a little accent blue and white full time, and the Pat Patriot on the helmet, because it is one of the best logos in NFL history. As you can see from the hat I wear every week if you watch on YouTube. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. Drop that down in the comments. Do you want them to bring these jerseys back full time, or at least like a very regular alternate, not 2 times a year? I'm talking like 5-6 times a year. I think that would be awesome. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What went wrong for the Patriots today, and what do they need to improve on? Like, what would you actually want to see in terms of tangible improvement before the end of the season? Because we all want them to have a top 5, top 7 pick, right? We do. But what do you want to see from this team if you're actually rooting for them to win some games? Drop that down in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at RealCamStewart. And we'll be back with you in 2 weeks' time after the Patriots bye week in the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast. Keep up to date all week long in Locked On Patriots with Mike Debate. And we will see you in a couple weeks. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We'll get you ready for Christmas and what should be on the Patriots wish list until then. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you on the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast.